Hello everyone, one of the lead developers here for the Crushing Thunder. I just wanted to give you guys a rundown of how to play and the basic rules of the game and what it would look like if you were at the table with some miniatures. Now, unfortunately, we have a lack of people due to scheduling, COVID, all kinds of other reasons, but never fear, I am here. So everything will work out alright. So these are some random pictures that I found, as well as maps you can see here that are on Roll20.net. You can go find them. This is an excellent rock. Let's get right into it. So we're going to go through a combat scenario with a skill test before it. So starting off, we're going to have a skill test. And if you look at the document, which you cannot see, but I can because I'm awesome. Let's see here, you have different difficulties, which will go up to anywhere between 5 and 25 respectively, but it is really up to the GM whatever difficulty they want to make. So I'm going to make this difficulty let's say I have a 15 in a skill. Alright, so I have a 15 in skill, which gives me a -2 to the difficulty, which originally was 12. I'm going to roll. The result, I get an 11. So I beat the difficulty. I see this T-Rex before it sees me. So I'm able to initiate combat first. As a result, combat rolls, which is 3d6 for the first part. So, blam. Now, as we look over here, everything of 3 or higher is a point. So that's 2 on the first. Then we roll 2d6. Nothing there. Final. So that's 1, 2, 3 damage to the T-Rex. So pop, 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 pop. I'm able to damage it. Alright, and I don't think that I'm going to move, so I'm going to unload into it again. Bam. Alright, we got a 6. We'll come back to that. Alright, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And since we got a 6, we could take a roll, another dice, but no extra damage from the 6. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 more points for 7 total. It is very much aware of us now, and it's going to charge. And since I use both my actions to attack, I'm not going to be able to get any kind of defensive maneuver, but that's fine. It's just a T-Rex made of meat, so I'm not too worried about it. It's already taken 7 damage, and it's going to try to eat me, which it's going to probably not do too well at. Alright, so now this is where a comparison of power would come in. My armor on this mech is power 2, because I'm going to be using a lighter armor for more mobility, and this T-Rex's attack power is 2, which is very rare for anything organic, meaning that attacks are just rolled normally. If its power was higher, it would do double damage. If my defense was lower, it would do double damage, etc. Or if my defense was higher, it would have to start at 2d6 instead of 3 whenever it attacks. So, let's see here. It got 3. Ooh, one more. Oh my gosh, again. It's hurting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 damage to me. Alright, so I felt that one. Taking my damage. Alright, so I'm going to disengage. I'm going to make a thrusters roll. And the difficulty 10 for basic combat interactions. That's what I roll. So let me look at my character sheet. You don't get to see. What is my thrusters? Thrusters. Alright, so my thruster score is 3, which means I can choose to fly, and I can only move a number of spaces equal to my thruster score plus my 4 base movement. So I'm going to move 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 down here. Now, technically I'd be flanking it because it's focused in this direction over here, and I have flown over here, so it does not get to attack me. And now I'm going to let it have it. Boom, boom, boom. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then roll again for some 6s. 5. So 5 damage, will, let's say, terminate it. So I have 1, and that's about it. It's simple. You get to have a handful of dice, you chuck them again, and you chuck them some more. If you deal damage, you get to do it again. So let's go back over and quickly recap with some ability use. So I'm going to not... Alright, so what's going to happen now is say that we meet on even terms. I'm going to make a thrusters roll for my mech. And if I have a 3, so that would be 10, and the T-Rex's agility is... Alright, well, its agility, we're tied. So player wins on ties. So I am going to now do an attack. But I'm going to modify it by using... I'm going to fly up with my thrusters and come down and hit this thing, adding 1 power to my attack. Its defense is only 1, so I will do double damage to it with this maneuver. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so there's 4, then 5, 6, so 6, so for 12. So I just jump up with the thrusters, land, and just pummel this thing. Now what you're going to notice is that in this game, since it is very lenient, I should say, in its current state, it is developed to introduce people to tabletop role-playing game. There's not a lot of things that interfere with the specific rules of combat. Now there are things like cover, which I'll go into now that I've shown you a fun maneuver. In the actual document, there's not a big list of, oh, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. It's pretty much just your imagination. Do you have thrusters that can lift your mech 70 feet in the air? Yes? Well, then you could probably jump up and slam this thing. You know, use your imagination, let your players have some agency, and it'll all work out for you. So now there's cover in the way of this dinosaur, which makes me upset, because cover is not my friend. I'm going to roll, but because there's cover, if I get a 1, my attack is cancelled. So there's 2, and there's a 1, so it just stops there. So I do 2 damage to it, ting, 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 and so now it's going to move up on the cover and try to eat my face. Boom, ba-boom, and ba-boom. So 3 damage to me. I don't like that much. So I'm going to rocket tackle it off this rock. So it's got to make an agility. I'm going to say difficulty 10. It makes it, so it does not take any damage. I'm now... Oh, I have the high ground. Yeah, we know where this is going. So I'm going to fire down in it. I deal 1 damage to it. My gun jams, just click, 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 bang. Oh, hey, there we go. Oh, gosh, T-Rex. So now that I'm in this position, it is going to have a hard time reaching me. I technically have cover because it has to move up on the rock. So, and it's over. You do not roll this because a 1 is present. So I take 3 damage. It bites my leg. I am not happy with this. I'm going to unload twice into it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and roll again. Just 5 on that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. So we're looking at some 11 damage. Yes, dead. Because I already did a ton to it earlier. And that's basically the gist of combat. Basic things you're going to remember, and the document will fill you in a little bit more. You can use your skills and basic stats interchangeably. So what I mean by that is if you want to make an agility check or a thruster check, you can do that instead of one of the generic skills that are in the game. But one thing that you can do is spend your stats in order to give you bonuses. So for example, I can spend strength to guarantee extra damage on my melee attacks. I can spend agility to take less damage from attacks. I can spend intelligence to auto pass certain things, and I can spend charisma to make people like me. Or I can spend Paint Job to make money from my mech, you know. Lots of different things that you can do. And yes, that is a stat. You can have a Paint Job on your mech to help customize, and the better the paint job, you know, more advertising, the more money you make, and you just make passive income from walking around killing dinosaurs, because people have little drones that watch from the big walled cities to see if you're actually helping or are just some guy off in the woods. Alright, well, if this has been informative and helpful for what you need to know about the Crushing Thunder and what you're going to be experiencing, like I said, it allows for a lot of player agency in its current form. And it is just basically, like I said earlier, designed for newer players who want to get into role-playing but may not want to fumble with a lot of different mechanics. Just roll some dice, deal some damage, feel powerful, but giving agency to the GM to fudge their encounters if they need to. Alright everyone, I hope that you have enjoyed this little tutorial, and I will see you next time with more information on the Crushing Thunder.